fence. I'm not scared of them giants. I know that God's going to do what He said He was going to do. I know that He's going to give me what He said He was going to give me. No matter who comes against me, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, no matter what anybody says, no matter if I come against you, you've got to stand for God and say, hey man, he's wrong. I got to go for God. But people today won't do that. It's either time for us to humble down, turn north, cross Jordan and get the promises, or continue to be like the Hebrew children and continue to lose out. These are examples. This is as clear as it gets. This is absolutely as clear as it can be. And either we can continue the same ways in what we're doing, or we can turn north. We can turn a different direction and change. But really, are you having life more abundantly? You know if you are or not. Are you really having it? Are you really the promises when you read in the Bible that Jesus promised to us? Just the Great Commission that's recorded in Mark. Are you seeing those in your life? Are the things following you? Are the gifts that He promised to you following you? Is the dead being raised behind you? Are the demons being cast out before you? Are these situations happening before us today? And here's why. Because we're allowing the enemy, just as much as he did the Hebrew children, to keep us going around this mount in confusion, because this is the only path we know. We've been doing this path for so long, we think this is the path that we got to take. That's why I've said this has been going on for generations. This is the same path that's been going on, and we're staying on that same path. This is the only path we know where we can turn north and try a different direction. We can try a different way. We can try the way that God is trying to send us. We can try the way that He's trying to take us. Or we can continue the same path that we're going. Going around and round. Is it giving you life more abundantly, or is it causing chaos for you? Is it causing confusion? Is it causing hard times? Because that's all the enemy does. But God's not in that. He's not in those things. So when it comes down to it, are we any different? When it comes down to it, are we any different in those things? Can we recognize wrong in us? Or have we got hardness of heart today? Have we got stiff-neckedness like the Hebrew children, that we can't recognize wrong, and we can't go into the place like David and put sackcloth on? Can't be like Daniel when he recognized the people were wrong. It said that he put on sackcloth, ashes. Supplication before God, which means humbled himself before God and prayed for the people. Prayed for them. Because there's war in serving God. There's war in it. And there's more war on the way, I can assure you. There's more war to come. The enemy don't want us to cross Jordan. He don't want us to go into the promised land. He don't want us to receive all the promises that God wants us to have. You either fight for it, or you fight to hang on. I think it's time to fight for it instead of trying to fight to hang on. I think it's time to grab hold and turn north and start fighting for the promises instead of fighting just to keep walking around in a circle following the same routine that's all we know. That's all we know to do is just follow the same routine, go around and around the same circle and around the Mount Sinai and continue the same road. It's time to turn north and find out what happens. It's time to turn in direction. Make some sacrifices with our life for God. Bring the best gifts to Him. See what He'll do for you this year. See what will happen. Try Him out to make all the sacrifices toward Him that He's asking for us to do. Everything that He asks of us to do, if we make sacrifices toward Him and bring the best gifts, see what He'll do in turn. As I was coming home the other day, I was thinking about this. And I think I may have mentioned it the other night. Are we the kid looking for the gift under the tree? Or are we the adult bringing the best gift to put under the tree? Which one are we? Are we one bringing the best gifts to God? Or are we the child expecting the best gifts brought to us? That's how we can recognize where we're at. And what's the difference between us and the Hebrew children? What's the difference? Do we want to turn north or do we want to continue? It's up to us in everything that we do. The roads that we take and the places that we go. There's nothing hid. Nothing. There's nothing that can be hid. If Lisa wants to talk about me or talk about somebody, it will come out. If she wants to try to destroy somebody, it will come out. I'll assure you, it can't be hid. It'll eventually be preached on the housetop. It can't be hid in nothing. And the enemy's trying to use everything that he can to destroy the people. He's trying to do everything he can to fear us from going forward. He tries to bring people against one another. He tries to bring everything he can to keep people from turning north to receive the promises that God has. He tries to divide churches. He tries to divide families. He tries to divide everything. Well, I had another dream here recently. And I'm preparing for war. I know it's coming. I had another one, and there's another person in church had one that same night and called me, and it just lined right up. I know it's coming. I know that war's coming, and I'm preparing. In prayer and fasting and supplication, I'm preparing for what the enemy is bringing forth. I'm preparing for the things that he's going to bring forth, because I'm going to turn north. I'm not going to let him scare me into running off. I'm not going to let him scare me into that I can't fight Jericho, that I can't overtake the giants. Because God told me that this is where we need to go, this is where we're going. And that's the way we need to go. He wants to take us to the promises. He wants to take us to life more abundantly. And the enemy's trying to fight against it. He'll use everything fair and unfair to stop us from getting there. And that's what he used against the Hebrew children. They would go in their tents and they would talk. The Bible talks about it. They'd talk about Moses. They would talk about the things that was going on. They was fearful of the giants. They would all night cried after the spies came back, talking and scared of all the things that they told them it was out there. They was all afraid until God said, no, you're not going now. You're not going to receive it, and you're not going to go forward. We don't want to be in the same boat. We don't want to continue going around Mount Sinai in the desert land. And that song I was thinking about, Tanya, that you sung is I'm Tired. That was the song, I'm tired of the same old thing. I'm tired of the same old situation. I'm tired. I'm just simply tired of it. And I can see it on people's face, and you can see it on the numbers of people that come to church. The numbers of people that will sacrifice just to come. I know some people probably have fairly good reasons not to be, but we can't even sacrifice in those areas. Can't sacrifice. Can't sacrifice in this, that alone. How can we sacrifice in other things that God has asked us to do? And then expect to cross Jordan and receive the promises? And we can't bring the best gifts to the King? Are we any different than the Hebrew children? Are we any different? And we have been in need of nothing. Well, just as much as they've been in need of nothing. We've been in need of nothing, really. We've wanted a few things, don't get me wrong, and we'd love to have a few loved ones back that we've lost or a few other things. But for the biggest picture, we ain't been in need of nothing. We've had food. We've had clothes. We've had our power bills paid. We've got most of our family still with us. We've been really in need of much of nothing. Just as much as they were. Are we going to turn north? Or are we going to let the enemy continue to hold us back? We're going to let the enemy continue to convince us. We're going to let him continue. Because in Romans 5 was the other scripture I was going to read, was that grace don't cover when it's sin. It don't cover that. It don't cover it. What does that mean? When we disobey God, there ain't no grace in it. When we don't follow what he says, there ain't no grace in it. It don't cover those areas. Read Romans 5, verse 1 and 2. That's what it says. It won't cover it. It won't cover over it. But have we got in that shape? Have we got to that place that we can disobey God and not have put on sackcloth and ashes and supplication? Even in a church service, if God asks us to do something, that we can walk out the doors like it's nothing. We can walk out the doors like, well, it was just God that told me to do it. It's just God. It's just God. That's all it was. Well, that's how the Hebrew children did too.